Welcome back to the 628 Dirt Rooster channel, y'all, where hobby beekeeping is a way of life. Today we got one that's special to me, and the reason this one's kind of special to me is I did a cutout on this house several years back, but at the time this house had lattice skirting on it, which is now laid in a pile. So last time I was out, the old gentleman who lived here hung out with me through the entire job. He would not leave my side, and he drug a chair up and sat here, and he was 87 at the time, I think. Well, he just passed recently at 89 years old, and I did not know that and I didn't even know it was the same property I was coming to. I pulled up and I recognized it. I thought, hey, I'm fixing to hang out with the old man again. Well, he's gone. Maybe I'll hang out with him later on, you know. Somebody took siding or soffit down and took them out one time before. Then I got them out from under the belly cloth, and then the house is on the market to be sold, so they've got to get everything kind of dolled up. So it's very apparent that someone has sprayed them. Nobody seems to know who, because there's been a lot of people in and out working on the place and moving furniture and stuff, but there's obvious hornet spray in the combs. You see the milky looking poison running out of it. They've been successful on running them off some of the combs, but the colony's still here, so I'm fixing to flip this couch back up and cut it open, take the bees. This sucker's heavy. See if I can ease it down. It's not easing down. Is it stuck on something? No. Now right here is the first time I picked up the back of this couch, and I can feel the weight in it, but I thought I was pushing against the resistance of the material and the broken frame. I always wanted to do this. I always wanted to. Oh my gosh, that whole back. Golly. Holy smokes. That whole back of that chair is nothing but hive. Trying to hold it from falling, but the whole thing is it's turned loose. The back of the couch is holding it together. I got a lot of bees to vacuum up there. They've probably been in there a month. I guess that's the last thing I expected, was to find something massive like this in a recliner sofa. No wonder it didn't want to stand back up. This is going to turn real messy real fast. Take some of this counterweight out of it so the sofa's not turning over on me while I'm pulling on stuff. Occasionally I get a job that I'm kind of excited to go do. When you do as many cutouts as I do, you don't. The only time you really get excited is at the beginning of the season when it's starting to kick back off again. But this one, when they called me and they told me it was in a sofa, I was like, yes. Mr. Ed's done one, JP's done one. Everybody I know's done a sofa except for me. I've done chest of drawers, nightstands, cabinets, everything but a sofa. So when they called me and said they had bees in a sofa, I was like, I'll be there tomorrow. Oh,
Mom
okay.
is there.
Okay. No, I just thought you might find
Yeah.
it interesting. I'm gonna send you some pictures.
I want to show my husband. No, she told me to go home and cook and everything, and she'll be down to eat with us.
This thing's
So I was like,
this
okay.
this thing's been here since spring. It is massive. It's the whole back. The back that you would lean on, the whole back is full.
Yeah.
The sad part is that I could have saved all the honey for y'all if somebody hadn't been spraying it. Because it's like, I'm talking about, it's honey loaded. There's probably, rough estimate, 3 gallons, 4 gallons of honey in here.
Oh, wow. I appreciate you, Randy. Thank you.
Can't even pick it all up. I was really shocked by the amount of hive that was in this couch. When the homeowner's daughter brought me out to the back porch and the couch was laying on its back, she was kind of confused by that because no one had been on the back porch that she knew of, and she thought maybe one of her sons had come out and turned it over trying to see what was in it. Well, actually the weight of the hive turned the couch over. It had been leaning against the wall and someone slid it out from the wall, and the weight of the hive turned the couch over. Gotta keep an eye out for the water moccasins. Some cool old machines sitting here. Now, despite their attempts to exterminate this colony, it did turn out to be a healthy colony after all. And the queen was captured in the vac, and the colony was relocated on our home apiary here in South Mississippi.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
That's bucket number 2 full out of a sofa.
Oh my Lord.
That's after cutting most of it out.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No. Thank you. I think that's about it. I got to pick out a few more pieces of comb, and this thing's going on the fire pile, they said, so it doesn't really have to be clean, but I don't know when it's going, so I don't want to leave a big attractant on the back porch in a dearth, because we are in a dearth. Look at all the propolis. They've been corralling hive beetles right up in here. So I don't want to leave a whole big attractant. I'm going to have to wash this porch off, but there is definitely going to be honey dripping and ready for some robbers to come clean it up. Probably take them once they find it to get the numbers over here to clean it up. Probably half a day they'll have this thing dried out. I don't think they're really out looking for it in this weather. They're just some afternoon showers. It'll clear up and we'll have robber bees up here on this back porch. I was watching what I was doing, or watching what I was digging, not necessarily what I was doing. I grabbed a big old hunk of comb out of here and dropped it right in my wash water bucket. Had to fish it out. So as we're coming back out of these woods, let me share some backwoods redneck stories with you. Starting with my dad. I had to rescue him today, so I'll give you a short little synopsis of what happened there. He's getting to where he gets himself in more and more fixes because he's physically unable to do certain things. He's not thinking, and he gets into little problems. So today my mom calls me about 12:30, I guess, and just kind of a little panic in her voice. Son, can you come help? Your dad's sitting in the ditch with us on John Road, and I can't imagine why he's in the ditch. He doesn't drive anymore, so his electric wheelchair is the only thing that he would be on John Road in my mind. So I'm thinking he's turned his wheelchair over in the ditch somehow, which is a pretty deep ditch on kind of a busy street with a bunch of hills. So I'm like, oh man. I said, who's there? She said, she said, Christian's there. He's sitting with the front end down the ditch and the bush hog hanging out in the road. And I was like, why is he on the tractor on John Road? I don't know. Well, then she figures out it's not John Road, it's Lundy Road, which is, there's no traffic on. I was like, okay, now it's a different story. It took the panic out of it for me. But at this point, he's been out there for well over an hour, stuck in this ditch with the tractor won't crank. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be there in a minute. So I grabbed my jump box and head that way, and I stopped at a convenience store on the way to get him a cold water, because she didn't say he's still on the tractor, but I know in my mind he's still on the tractor. I get there, he is cooked. He's been sitting in this heat on the tractor for an hour and a half, he says, sitting there with an umbrella over his head. I hand him a water. He starts drinking. I get the tractor cranked and get it out of the ditch, get him back home. Then I have to go back next door and get on his electric wheelchair and drive it back around to the house. And it's about a little eighth of a mile little drive on the little electric wheelchair. Jeff calls me and I'm telling him what's going on. We're laughing about it. But back when I was a kid, this was a small town. I grew up in a pretty small town on a dirt road. They didn't pave our road until I was like 10 years old. So there was a lot of logging trails, a lot of exploration to be done around our house. And if anything around our house had wheels on it, I had it in the mud at some point. Mud riding, exploring, whatever. So I started driving at a fairly early age, and this is 1984. We had a C10 van, Chevrolet van, a Beauville. My dad was always proud of the Beauville. That's what we called it, the Beauville. So I had seen a go-kart for sale down the street with the big fat back tires on it, little small front tires, and I wanted to go take a look at it. And I asked my mom, "Can I take the Beauville down the street and go look at that go-kart?" And she said, "Where is it?" And I told her, and it's like 2 miles one way. She says, "Yeah, just go and come straight back." So, 14 years old, I've been driving for a couple of years at that point, not daily driving, but just driving around back roads and stuff. So fairly decent driver. So I hop in the van, go down there and looked at the go-kart, and I'm coming back and there's logging trails to my left, and I'm familiar with all of them. I've been down all of them a million times, but I just felt like I wanted to go ride in this full-size van with street tires and running boards. So I go down this dirt road, Crown Road, and turn off on one of those logging trails, and I get down there a little ways, and I get to a hole it's about 20-foot long mud hole. Sometimes it's dried out, and I expected it to be dry, but it wasn't. So I'm like, well, I can either back way out of here to turn around, or I can get up to this hill on the other side of this hole and turn around and shoot back across it. And I knew it was slippery mud, but I wasn't sure how deep it was, even though I'd been through it on three-wheelers and dirt bikes 100 times. But I was like, I'm going to try it. So I back up, get a running start, boom, and I get all the way to the other end of the hole. Front end gets up on the high spot, and the van stops. And I was like, oh no. So I sit there, heart pounding, not sure what I want to do. So I get out and start walking, and the closest house to me is up this dirt road I'm on, and it's the Beausarges. And if you're a Beausarge, no offense, but these people were on a damaged limb of the Beausarge family tree. And so I get up to the Beausarge's house, and I say, "Hey, I got stuck down the road here. Do y'all have a chain or a rope or something you can come pull me out with?" And he's like, "I don't have anything. I got," I say, "No rope, no chain, no nothing." "No," he said, "I got a garden hose." I said, "No, a garden hose ain't going to do it. It's just going to break." I think I can pull you out with a garden hose." And he was excited to come help. And so I couldn't. He said, "Let's just go look at it." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I'm like, "I don't even know what you're going to do." But he throws a garden hose in the back of the truck, and I'm thinking, "You are not going to pull us out with a garden hose." So we go down there to the van. I stomp through the mud, tie the hose to the ball hitch on the van. He ties to his truck. Snap, it just breaks the hose. So by this time, I've been gone for a couple hours after my mom had told me go straight there and straight back. You're talking about 15 minutes max. And so I said, "Can you take me to Lampkins?" There was a wrecker service halfway between there and our house. It was Mark Lampkins Wrecker Service. And we had a wrecker, but I wasn't about to call my dad. And so he takes me down to Lampkins, and Mark don't want to take his truck down in the woods, but I talked him into it. For $35, he'd go down there and pull me out. And I was like, I got $35 at home. And so he drives this 14-year-old kid down in the woods to get this van. He said, "How in the world did you get that van on the other side of that hole?" And I said, I just flew through it, and that's where it stopped." He said, "Man," he said, "I don't know if I can pull you out." So he hooks to it, and his truck's sliding a little bit, but he finally gets the van moving, pulls me out. By the time I get home, I have been gone for about 3.5 hours, and so I'm missing. My mom has called everybody. My dad's home from work early. There's no hiding where I have been, because if you've been mud riding in a full-size van with running boards, there will be signs. And so I pull up in the driveway, and my dad sees the condition of the van. It's just filthy. It ain't damaged, but it's filthy. And so I'm expecting a screaming at, a beating, something, and he doesn't really say anything. He just walks around the van, looks at it, and says something about get it cleaned up, and he goes in the house. And my mom's over there just on the edge of tears because she's been looking for me. She's been out combing the neighborhoods and calling everybody, and everything short of calling the police to come look for me. And so there's all that, and oh my gosh, checking, making sure everything's okay. Are you okay? Did you get hurt? All that kind of thing. And so the only thing that I really got in any kind of punishment was a guilt trip. I can't believe you would do that to your mama. You don't know how bad you scared her. I mean, I got guilt tripped over that for a month, and I can't believe you called the competition to come pull you out. I have a perfectly good record at the shop. I could have come pulled you out, but he knew I wasn't going to call him. So that's my 14-year-old mud riding in a full-size van story, and I shortened it up a bit because there were moments where we did pass her on the road when we were headed to Lampkins, and I was sitting on the toolbox on the back of the bow sergeant's truck, and I saw her, and I laid down on the toolbox so she wouldn't see me. So dumb redneck stuff, plenty more of those stories. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Come back for another. See you soon. Have a great rest of your summer. This stuff right here makes really good small hive beetle traps. Cut out little sections of it. They get their feet hung in the fibers on the bottom of this. That thing catch hive beetles like crazy. Don't look like they need it anymore.